Well, I never really noticed. I know in my mind that Northfield Park drags the races along, but you don't realize how much until you're supposed to be leaving Northfield Park. Post time for race 8 was 9:04. I think it was 9:04. I left at 9:52, which means I'll be home about 5 minutes after 2 in the morning to Ontario, Canada. I think one of the last big, huge, busy days, busy weekends, will be this weekend. Amy and I have come to an agreement. Addie and Ollie and I will be on tour. The last 48 hours of their summer, we'll be on tour. We are going from Ontario to Scioto to Poconos to Lexington, and then back the day before school starts here in Ohio. Addie was the one that said she was okay with it. I think Amy was taken aback a little bit that Addie was okay with it, and Ollie was okay with it also. So it worked out good. Just really happy that I knew it was going to be a busy weekend. Happy that I could spend it with them, and happy that it took some of the stress off of Amy also for the latter part of the weekend. The first part of the night tonight, I'm like everybody else. I'm only human. When the horses aren't racing good, two things have to happen. The first thing is, they don't have to happen, but they do. For me, for sure. Obviously, my temper is going to be stretched thin, right? I'm going to boil over once in a while. I'm sure everybody knows that knows me well. And I boiled over a little bit today on Jason. And we're fine. I mean, when it comes to horses, I tell you guys this all the time. This game is merciless. I was trying to think of the quote I heard a long time ago, and it pertained to this industry in particular, because in this industry, in this little universe that we call horse racing, we all kind of measure our ability and our talent on victories. But the reality of the situation is that's true. It's human nature. But your character is measured in those losses, right? And I'm not perfect. I'm in no way, shape, or form perfect. Not even close. And I feel it too sometimes. You get to a point where the horses should be racing better, and they're not. But I had somebody message me after Tom raced, Emerald Tom. Clearly, he hasn't been at his best his last 2 starts, and there is something obviously that is going and has gone through the burn. And somebody messaged me and said, what's wrong with Tom? I thought we had treated him for sickness. It's a fair question, a very fair question. But what you fail to understand is, and it's again, this is only human nature. When you hear me talking, hey, don't worry, guys. Emerald Tom's GGT was high. We're working on it. His white count or whatever was high, or Uncle Danny's AST was high. You hear all these letters put together, and you hear me tell you it's going to be all right. But these are living, breathing animals. And just because you run antibiotics through the horse and fluids into the horse and work on the horse's liver count or muscle count, that doesn't mean that horse is at 100% their next start. You hope they are. Some of them are. Some of them aren't. More aren't than are. And you're trying to give them enough time, but when you're talking about Tom, we get the Buckeye tonight. So that was our timeline. Dr. Natessa worked hard on him, but the horse himself has to get over it. And I saw him after the race, blowing a little bit. It was still a little hot out in his stall. He looked a little lethargic. Looked like he just got in a bar fight, is what he looked like. A little disheveled, just uncomfortable in his stall. He was fine after a while. Dr. Tessa came and scoped him, said his airway was a little inflamed, and he thought that. So here's the other thing: when you have horses, and I hate saying it like this, because when we talk about EPM, it's this 3-letter word that just, it's such a gigantic catch-all in horse racing. Oh, he's got EPM. Oh, you know what? That horse could have EPM. He seemed like he had a little touch of EPM. Nobody really knows, right? It wasn't himself. It could be a little neurological. And there is some horses that have EPM. Now, here's the other problem. When you're sick and your white count's down and your immune system is under attack, that's when you're going to see it also. And Dr. Tessa had mentioned his airway being a little kind of loose, a little weak. The upper airway itself, which he said he was going to treat him hard for EPM this week. But to me, I think this is the latter stages of Tom getting over what he had before. And it's obviously, as you can imagine, harder to get over something when you're working through it. And I would say all of that was a little bit of Tom tonight. He just wasn't 100%, wasn't sharp as a tack. Now, as it turned out, in the qualifiers, Royal Duchess was in heat bad. Got a little bit of a golden shower. Those of you in horse racing, you know what that means. I got peed on a little bit, and I was very angry. And then Tom came out the track, and he shit all over me. I boiled over. It had nothing to do with the urine or it had nothing to do with that. Just that it had happened, that, the horses qualified and schooled well. But then Tom, seemingly our best shot of the night, well, no, Highest Honors was our best shot of the night. But our best stake shot of the night was Emerald Tom, and he raced flat. And I boiled over a little bit. I'm only human. But, cooler heads always prevail, and, when you step back and look at Tom, it's the way it is. That's horse racing. As a whole, merciless game. Very tough game. But you have to have enough character to push through it and understand that you may not like it. It is part of the game, and it's part of the game for everyone. We get spoiled and we get used to having our horses in the right place at the right time at Northfield or at the Meadows. We'll get on our own little heaters sometimes at Mohawk with the right horses. You saw it with Drebin. Harry 3 years ago almost won, was almost up for Horseman of the Year in Canada, horsemanship. We have our moments, but the most important moments are when things aren't good. So, it's the same as anything else. Just put your head down and work. It was great to finish the night off with Highest Honors. Now, Dr. Tessa had gone. I would like to scope he's a Fearless Peter. I raced him hard tonight. He felt like he was up for the challenge at the quarter pole. I would have loved to see what his airway looked like. Did he bleed a little bit? Was there mucus there? Unfortunately, he had gone home. So maybe we'll have a look at him tomorrow. He certainly felt good at the quarter pole. I knew that was Chris coming. I was hoping it wasn't. Because anybody short of Chris, I might have given it to them. He felt that good. And when Chris cleared to the front, he still felt okay, but then kind of fizzled out. 32 on the end of it. He hooked a fourth, I guess. Tom was fifth. Then we go with Highest Honors. And it's funny. Aaron wins a lot of races, and sharp guy too. Second, third generation horseman. He knows what he's doing. And he come up to me after. He goes, this little horse, he's got that strong mouth. And I know what he was trying to say. He was trying to be polite. He was trying to say, hey, you might not want to put him on the front end. Because coming off the car, he's a very shy horse. Now with Highest Honors, he can get really grabby coming off the car, but then will settle in the mile. And the easier he comes off the car, obviously stands to reason, the more kick he's got on the end of the mile. So the key to him is keep him quiet, but keep him interested. And when I moved him, he was all business tonight. It was funny, I warmed him up at an open bridle. Just let him see everything. And you can tell how green and how immature he really is. Looking at everything. That was his first day on planet Earth. But I'll tell you what, when I moved him, till we went through the wire into the turn, he was all business. So, a great job by him. A great job by everybody. You know, I see the emails, people asking about certain horses, and I respond to them as best I can. But it's just one of those things where, you know, I think there's stake season where some of the stake horses aren't good enough. We thought they were, like everybody else, but some of them aren't. And this is the time of year where I'm left dealing with that. So nose to the grindstone, trying to get everything back going. Now, rewind all the way back. That wasn't the most work we did all day. We qualified 2 and schooled 3 today. For our qualifiers, you know, we put them into qualifier, and I know Jason McGinnis had asked me, he said, you think they're ready to go? I trained them both at 2.4, 2.5 last week. They felt ready to go. But were they ready to go? I didn't know. I was not in the least bit surprised that Capistrano Nights was as good as she was today. Now, still on the right line in the turns, left line a bit in the straightaways. I know her knees hurt her. I noticed that thing. Remember we talked a little while ago about that left hind, something in her left hind, and we turned her out, brought her back. It's better. It's still there. It's still there. So all night, kind of, everyone had a free mowing. You know, I'm weighing the pros and cons of racing her versus turning her out. We know she's fast, but she's not a stake filly right now. There is some of the season left. I don't know what to do. I don't want to hurt her, because clearly she has speed. There's no two ways about that. When I moved her, there was no doubt in her mind she was going to run that horse down and drive away. There was zero hesitation in that regard, and I love that. So I'm going to think about it. I know a lot of my partners are like, oh, when's she going to race? I can't wait to see this filly race. There's a part of me that doesn't want to race her. A part of me that wants to turn her out. We'll see. Let's see how she jogs tomorrow. Let's see how she feels tomorrow. Then I went with Royal Duchess, and I told you she peed all over me. I hate that so much. She's just an eat. And by far the fastest mile of her life. We'd been in 2.5 a couple of times with her. I like this filly. I love horses that are tenacious. Right? That feel like they want to get at it. I think she's going to be a nice 3-year-old. Do we race her? 2.2's not bad. Especially when she's god-awful in heat. She's got to be better. I'm sure she'd trot 2-1, 2 minutes. We all saw what that will get you. But the one thing Royal Duchess is that a lot of other horses aren't, this year in particular, paid into the fairs. So I'll probably pick a fair. Go and race her. I haven't been to one yet. So 2 very good qualifiers, actually, all things considered. Then we went up with the schoolers, Blue Ventura and Dio Sedella Danza went together, finished up right together in 58, looked good, ready to go. And then I also schooled Agent Black. I didn't even tell Daniel yet that I schooled the horse. He's only been on this continent for 3 weeks. I wanted to see where he was at with his cardio, with his physical work. He's 3 weeks from racing. Did his work well, 2-3 last half of a minute. But this horse that I suspect should be a 55 trotter. So he's a good a good 3 weeks. He won't see the starting gate again for 3 weeks minimum. But I was happy with his workout today also. Blue Jays got beat. Very disappointed. And all the hustle and bustle, I was happy they won last night, but the game against the Dodgers was amazing. The last one, the two before that. Anyway, I also, you had to wait 15 minutes to hear it. I'll make another video specifically geared towards Raging Hanover. That's the horse that we bought today. You guys didn't know about that. I didn't really bring it to you. I wasn't in a big hurry to right away because I knew that there was a number of people that were asking me about Raging Hanover. You know, have you seen this horse? Have you looked at this horse? What are your thoughts on this horse? And my take on the horse was simple. I liked him. And before anybody had messaged me about Raging Hanover, Megan had reached out to me and said, hey, just so you know, I got this colt, this 3-year-old Walner, and they had sent him to me, and he was pretty hot. I think we got him squared away, and he won his last 2 starts, 55 and 54. Those are his only 2 wins of his lifetime, and I think he's a really nice horse. So when we were out the other night, I asked Scott, okay, what's the scoop on this Raging Hanover? He said, nice horse, does his work well. I kind of like him. So I looked at him quick. I thought he'd bring a little more than this. But see, this is what happens when there's so many of these 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds flood the market. It kind of drives down the price of everybody. Obviously, that's supply and demand, right? You know that. So, yeah, he's got 2 wins, 11,000 made is all he has made. His last 2 races were maidens at the Meadowlands, and he won both of them. And I asked Megan, she said, what a sweetheart he is. I said, is he such a sweetheart he can get around Yonkers? She said, yeah, I don't see why not. Good. So that was the other reason. I wanted to figure out exactly where I was going to race him, because I know a lot of you shy away. A lot of us still do shy away from the New York scene. But I think it would behoove us to race this horse at Yonkers if he could race there. So his next start will be at Yonkers for Megan. She likes him, so she can keep the horse. She knows the horse very well. And I just think, I don't see how this is any sort of loss. And I guess the biggest selling point for me was it was a $260,000 yearling. Gelded, son of Walner, and ready to ignite. I know this family. Pedigree. Ken's Walner. It's his brother. You know him. Oh, this is Explosive Matters family, Woodside Charm. So he's out of his mother's sister to the mother of Explosive Matter. Anyway, I don't particularly remember this horse at the sale. These are the types of horses I like to go back and look at the notes that I had on them, from the sale, and see what I'd written. I haven't done that. I'll maybe do it tomorrow, or maybe I'll do it before I do this other video. But Raging Hanover's ours now. I can tell you right now that there's probably 50% of them left, maybe 45, because obviously the people that had brought them to my attention, you know, roughly around the same time that Megan did. Put it this way, they didn't know that I was looking at them. They had brought up Raging Hanover, so I felt that when I bought the horse, those 3 people should get whatever shares they wanted. So there's roughly around half of him available, and at 10 o'clock tomorrow. It seemed like 8 was a bit early, because I knew that I felt bad. There was about 5 people that went online to buy shares in the Pacer the other day, JK Mega, and he literally sold out in 3 minutes. Somebody messaged me and said, Anthony, I thought the horse was going up at 8. I went on at 8:09 and he was sold out. I said, I apologize, sir, but I can show you the timestamps. The last share of that horse was literally sold at 8:04, I think. Maybe 8:03. And this guy will move every bit as quick. So whatever's left, I think there's 45, 55, something like that shares left. They will all be available to you at 10 a.m. tomorrow. So just everybody be forewarned. That could be 10:02, that could be 10:05. He sold out, he will sell out quick. So, Raging Handover, our newest horse. I told you guys I'm going to do my best to just slowly acquire horses that are going to make those immediate impacts, right? So, nose to the grindstone at the barn. And Jason knew where I was coming from with it. Anytime the horses race bad, it's on me. This is our show. When they race good, everybody gets praise. When they race bad, it's all on Anthony. So, just need to get back to work. Get back to work on the horses and get them back going right. And we will. But as I said, I don't have to tell you guys, this industry is full of peaks and valleys. And the peaks are great. The valleys suck. But you can't have one without the other. So, we'll talk to you all very soon. Not a bad night tonight. First, fourth, and fifth. 3 starts. It's not all doom and gloom. Fantastic mile from Highest Honors. One of those miles that really shows you he's growing up and maturing. So lots more racing for him the rest of the season. I was happy. You should be happy. The horse raced great. Now tomorrow, what do we got? I got Ollie's baseball game tomorrow, 1 o'clock. Very important. Tomorrow for us, Woodmere Bullet will be back in action tomorrow again. That can't be right 9:30 in the morning. It's got to be 9:30 at night, isn't it? It's impossible. Looks like money. Dave Pallone picked to win. 3-point blue chip. Picked to win. I got to send Dave a message about 3-point blue chip. And Blue Rare. Man, we should have a good day tomorrow. Now, I'd sent out a note to everybody, all my partners on Woodmere Betcha, saying, her left leg filled up. I think this is secondary from her running in and taking weight. We're going to have to shut her down. And what actually had happened, obviously I wasn't in PEI, I'd actually asked Jamie Smith to ultrasound the leg, and the veterinarian looked at it and said it wasn't an injury at all. It was a little bit of infection. Could have hit herself when she made a break on James. So she also is back in to go. She gets to drop down now. I don't know how I feel about this. I think I like it. If you race in the A division, you have to be like 4th or 5th, a start or 2, to drop down into the B. They just won't let you drop into the grassroots. It sounds great right now with the way Annette Lawrenson's just decimating the Buckeyes for the 2-year-old trotting fillies. It sounds like a great plan. But she is 5-2 going for 11-4. The grassroots division of the Lady Slipper. I know so bad. I didn't really make it known to anybody, but I was really trying to get home to PEI. I thought that if Friday wasn't busy, I booked off Thursday to go to Ollie's baseball game. Maybe Ollie's baseball team would be eliminated on Friday. I wasn't cheering against them. I was just talking to myself. If they were eliminated, we could get on a plane, make the Friday night card. I could drive when they're at you. Watch all the Saturday night card, and all of us could fly home with Ava on Sunday morning. Now, of course, that didn't come to fruition. I am much busier than I thought I might be. So instead of getting to relax and watch the races in Prince Edward Island and hang out with I'll be there next year, I promise. But hang out with everybody. Instead, I'll be on the road with something fierce. Friday, I'm on my way to Ontario right now. I'm going to watch Ollie play baseball Thursday. Hopefully they play Friday morning at 10 o'clock. If they do, right after the game, I'm going to drive to the Meadows. I'm going to race the whole card and drive right back home to Ontario. I'm going to pick up Ollie and Addie in the morning. We're going to drive to pick up our rental car. We're going to drive to Scioto Downs. Unlimited mileage, may as well. We're going to race. Time is on my side. Saturday night. Come back home. Get up Sunday. Ollie wants to play hockey. It's a long way to go, I can tell you that. So he's got some hockey lesson or something on, I don't know, on Sunday morning. Right after the hockey lesson, put all the gear away, drive straight to the Poconos. We got 1 for Tim, 2 for ourselves. Hopefully, after the races, we can catch some pool time. I don't know if we'll be able to or not. And then, as Addie put it, she's pretty excited. A flight on Monday morning from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania to Lexington. We're going to race Hanger 1 and Steady Volo. And then go out to dinner on Monday night. Do a little more swimming. And then Tuesday morning, that's it for summer for the kids. Got you, Fly. Maybe I did. But that's it for summer for them. They're back in school full all of them on Wednesday. It's hard to believe, isn't it? Wow. So an okay night tonight. Some soul searching for us at the stable. Also, we want to make sure that we get things back on track. And of course, we're only human. We're going to lick our wounds, but hard work will bring that around. Tomorrow we have Woodmere Bullet, Looks Like Money, and 3-Point Blue Chip and Blue Rare. So that's enough of that. 26 minutes of rambling. I will talk to you all very soon. I'll be home. Don't worry. It says 2:34. I'll be home at 2:12 in the morning in Ontario. Get to bed. Have a great night. And we'll talk to you all soon.